But I earnestly believe there is I feel like I've certainly talked about this on other shows and probably with you at some point, but there is a certain strata of video that is optimally viewed on a VHS tape. Like,
Yeah.
Blu-ray is not the right solution for everything.
No.
Or, now we're on 4K or Ultra HD, any of these things. The Evil Dead should not be viewed on 4K disc. The Evil Dead should be viewed of a VHS copy being projected on a wall. Like, that is the optimal way to watch that.
Yeah, they didn't shoot those movies so that you could, pay attention to their zits.
Right.
They were not made so that you could see everything in the frame. The mise en scène was not, accounted for.
The mise en scène was derived for the shitty film and video quality that it would be viewed on.
Absolutely. And, the soft, digital filtering or analog filtering. The filtration that happens by being on a VHS, the soft. You can change your appearance on Zoom to be a soft lens. That is what the VHS was for.
Right, exactly.
Are you doing a wrap?
I am going to wrap, but I was just having a nice talk about one of my favorite things, which is the optimal viewing metric for different video formats.
So I've it's been one of my core projects has been going on Depop, which is usually used for tiny teens to get Y2K clothes, which for some reason are back in fashion. The era that I thought would never come back, which is Von Dutch, Ed Hardy.
Yeah.
Just so strange. But that's what is desired by tweens. You could not pay me to wear what a lot of them are wearing. But Depop is the place for that. It's also a place to find a lot of really great thrifted goods. It is also a great place to get a VHS for $4 or a bundle of VHSs. And so I've been really deliberate about the VHSs that I've acquired during quarantine, and Scream is definitely up there and needs to be on a VHS. Matrix. 100%. I got It, the TV special It on VHS.
Must be on a VHS. Standard def for the Tim Curry It.
I think I haven't watched Titanic because it requires two VHSs. So I haven't done that yet. Aristocats is on a VHS. Yes. Drop Dead Gorgeous is on a fucked up VHS. There's Cats for sure, obviously.
Right. I think, yes, there are some things that you love, the crisp Blu-ray uptick, but really, anything made before the advent of high-definition digital technology is almost not optimally viewed on an incredible restored 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a precipice. This is, of course, Hamilminute, and we will begin, as we used to do every single time, with a little song. Hamilminute, we're living it up. Hamilminute, I put it in a cup. They released the Hamil film, and it gives me a tilm. A tilm is, of course, something I just came up with. It's a little tight film list that I made up. Hamilton, it's on Disney Plus. Hamilton, get on the Hamil bus. It'll take you to 1776, where all the founding fathers show you their tricks. Their tricks, of course, being slavery. Slavery is not for me. Boom, Hamilton. Welcome to.
And I.
Nope. You first.
And I'm Kat Scott.
That's right. I am, of course, the disembodied sound of a rap, and this is Kat Scott. This is the 51st Hamilminute. The rest, of course, available. Patreon.com/TVskevin. But this one we're putting out there for the people because I think you might like this one. You might listen to this one. I love the way it boosts my community podcast numbers when we put out these little bony onies, and this is the perfect time to do a little bony oni.
Yeah, so like for context for listeners who haven't been Patreons of Kevin for the past several years, this was a project that it was a joke. I'm pretty sure Kevin made the joke. As more time passes, it becomes unclear. Like
history cannot decide which one of us originally pitched the joke.
Yeah, history did not have its eyes on us, and it is up to us to suss out what the fuck happened. But I had like a very short-lived radio show on my college campus, and all I knew. Show Tune Sunday with Kat Scott. It's a great concept, and I will be putting my podcast up at some point during quarantine, but not today. So I'm not going to plug it. But Kevin came on, and the only reputation that Kevin had in my brain at this point was that Kevin does podcasts. And so, like, I had been like a PA on Kevin's project. I forgot who brought me on. I feel like it was Vern.
You were on, you were on set for an episode or two of the web series Doomed to You, available on YouTube.com.
I was an extra. This is when I was in my performance femme phase. And I was not a PA. I was an extra. Please go watch Doomed to You specifically, which there's like an episode where I give a really great info, like a drug commercial, like
a drug infomercial, but as if the drug you are taking is curing a toxic relationship that you are in proximity of. That is, of course, episode 3, though I would recommend you start with episode 1. You can watch Doomed to You at least twice in the time it took you to watch Hamilton the musical. So I say go for it. It's perfectly free. Doomed to You.
It's arguable who worked harder, though, Lin-Manuel Miranda or Kevin Lanigan on Kevin Lanigan's Doomed to You project, or Lin-Manuel Miranda on Hamilton. It's still up for debate. Anyway, I was doing this thing, and I brought Kevin in, and one of us was like, oh, like, what about this horrible idea of, like, each episode, Hamilminute. I think it was you, because that's something you would come up with.
That sounds like my dumbass brain. That sounds like some bullshit I would conjure.
And so you're like, 1 minute, like we listen through the entirety of Hamilton a minute at a time and record a podcast for each minute. And if you go back and you listen through all the, like, we are in so much pain as it goes on, like this is our, like...
The weight of penance. This premise drags us down. In Dante's karmic inferno, I don't know what we did to subject ourselves to that, but that is what we chose to do.
There's no flow. Like, the songs really, like, they're meant to be listened to, like, as a song, not as, like, in every 60-second increments. So
they're
like
meant to be listened to as a song, and even more so as a part of a stage show that is happening in front of you. So to have them unfold as like 10 vines at a time is just like maybe not the optimal format for a work as powerful as Hamilton, or really any work. I don't think anything was meant to be consumed in the way that we were, and possibly in the future will continue to consume Hamilton.
So there's a couple things about the Hamilminute universe that we've created. Besides what was just outlined, we also have like a really unique sense of timing where we don't find success with the franchises that get really popular in the window that they reach popularity. So it was like post Hamilton zeitgeist when Kevin and I were like, let's do Hamilminute. Similarly, we wrote a Pokemon musical, and it did not find success in the time that Pokemon Go peaked and fell. And now there's also like Sword and Shield, and it still hasn't found its pocket.
and
And now Hamilton itself was released on Disney Plus, and it took us a full fucking month to get our schedules together. So we didn't even catch it during that wave.
The zeitgeist is I would much rather, take our time, really, like, reframe ourselves, get in the right headspace, let it digest for a little bit, than, like, have to be one of those YouTube channels that must react to everything the second that it happens. I would much rather live this chaotic life.
I appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your integrity to the work that you're consuming and discussing, like your community podcast.
Yeah, the work is the thing, and the thing comes out when it comes out. When you're ready, when you've done it and you've digested it, and you're here for it. We did a pretty quick turnaround on Cats. We did a pretty quick turnaround on Sonic the Hedgehog. Both of those reviews you can scroll back through this very feed and find. But, Hamilton, this is a bonus. I'm giving this to everyone as a treat, because there's still another Community episode coming out a couple days from now. But you're getting treat. This Hamilton as a little treat. I was going to save this for the end, but this is the biggest audience we've ever had for this Hamilton platform. So let me just put out there, just to have it be put out there. If you are a composer who would like to compose some music that we have lyrics for a Pokemon musical, the DMs are open, my child.
Absolutely.
Leave a 5-star review saying, I am a composer, I would like to be contacted. Here is a contact information.
And I am fucking exhausted because the 2 composers that I vetted were really fun, great people, and just fully ghosted our project.
Yeah,
and
they proved unvetted in the end. They unvetted themselves after being... You gave them the ocular pat down, and then they just completely, ran... They stole from us and ran away.
They haven't monetized off of it. They both just were this is really big, and we don't know what we're doing.
It is big, and I would like to, I'll put it out here for anyone that's worried. I am willing to downsize to make it a little smaller. I feel like okay.
There's so many raps. So many raps.
Yeah, let's paint a little. We're gonna do a little timeline picture, right? So Hamilton first lands with the public and is becoming a big thing. It's blowing up Spotify late 2015. There was the initial groundswell, but late 2015 is where I come in, and for a while I'm listening to this at least once a week in its entirety, not skipping any songs. The Hamilton cast was my number 1 artist of the decade on Spotify, according to this winter's scientific findings. I listened to nothing more so than the Hamilton cast.
Of the decade.
Of the decade! So from 2010, when Hamilton did not exist, to 2020, when Hamilton did exist, they were my number 1 artist of the decade. But 2015, we're doing that around, I think that spring, we do Showtune Sunday with Kat Scott. You bring in the idea for Poke Musical, and then we spend a long time banging out that first draft. I forget the exact chronology, but we banged that out, and I was on
Adderall.
Yeah,
I remember that.
You were on Adderall. We would break an act, and then I would go back and I would write the act, and we'd bounce back and forth, and we'd note, and we'd go back and forth.
We did the whole whiteboard in the library.
Oh, a classic move. We definitely did some breaking at Starbucks. Classic move. And I think the problem when I was writing it is that I had Hamilton too much on the brain. And Hamilton is a sing-through that could be pulled off because Lin-Manuel Miranda was already a Tony winner when he was making Hamilton. And so I had to... my brain was too ambitious and thinking too much like a Hamilton brain when I really should have been a much more In the Heights or Harry Potter musical type brain.
Right.
And that was the critical flaw. Again, if you are a composer, notes will be taken, things will be concised.
Absolutely.
We will make it happen.
The main thing is like we just, it would be devastating if nothing came of this and we spent all of the time that we did. So really just in any form, we'd be happy to hear your thoughts.
I just love to hear from you. Let's open up a dialogue. My DMs are open. My personal DMs at TV's Kevin Lanigan, and my podcast DMs at Greendale3. Instagram as well. Just get on in there if you're a composer. I do want to hear from you.
You know what sucks? Jace has a really good composer friend. And like they have like an awesome relationship, and I'm just like, you don't know how good you have it.
You don't know how good you have it.
Yeah, like this composer is composing like Jace's jukebox musical just like right now, and the turnaround for that has been like so much faster than like going all the way back to 2016 and being like, we've been trying for so long,
and we just have not been able to pull it off, but that's okay. To keep the timeline in check, I moved to New York officially in 2017, and around the fall of that year, I say, I don't have any money left, and I have been producing a pretty solid like podcast web series output for a while. Let me see if I can get people to pay me to do this. And I created a Patreon essentially so that I could buy groceries. and one day while dog walking, working of course 2 jobs simultaneously, and I was walking a dog, and I think I shouted out at Kat, Hamilminute. We listen to Hamilton minute by minute, and it's a Patreon exclusive pod, and it's behind that there paywall. And over the course, and that was our first episode, I just looked it up, came out in February 2018. And over the course of now 2.5 years, we have produced a solid 50 episodes, which, you know what, for a Patreon exclusive podcast, for a not incredibly popular Patreon, I think not bad. All things considered. Everything that you and I have done in the last, 2.5 years, I think 50 episodes is not half fucking bad.
I agree, for sure. I've definitely had to, readjust my expectations many times throughout this process, and I feel like I've grown from it. Artistically.
You and me both, dog. You and me both. And that is, of course we're almost 20 minutes in. We're going to talk about the Hamill film that has been released on Disney+. But I wanted to lay out the story of this and our relationship with Hamilton, because I was indeed fully obsessed with Hamilton for about a calendar year. It was the music that I listened to. And I bought, the book that they made, Hamilton, A Revolution. It's a hardcover. It's in my living room right now. And, but I had never been able to see it because it was the most in-demand Broadway show in decades, if not ever. And it was very, very difficult to ever dream of getting tickets to it. So we made do, but we learned that the original cast filmed a version of the show that would be released as some kind of film in the style of many, many other Broadway shows, probably with a much bigger budget than most of those shows, because Hamilton was, again, fucking massive. But that was in 2016, and for so long, we didn't hear anything. It was the original cast. It was Jonathan Groff. It was Lynn. It was Leslie. It was Renee. It was fucking everybody was still there. And we sat around, and every so often I would go are they ever going to release this? And then you hear it was bought by the Walt Disney Corporation, which is always, kind of a mixed bag. And I don't know, I feel like June of this year when they said, July 3rd, everyone, you're all trapped at home. We were probably going to release this into cinemas, but who knows if cinemas will even exist on the other side of this. So here you go. It worked out really well for Trolls World Tour, so we're just going to release Hamilton into your home this past July 4th weekend. When everyone, don't you just feel proud to be an American right now?
No. I don't.
Don't you want to wave that flag high and send a big salute to our boys in blue? Don't
0%. 0%, because the missing piece for you is that what happened in between was another huge swell of the Black Lives Matter movement and all of these different things happening. So, like, celebrating anything related to the 4th of July just felt so fucking painful. Like, just, like, physically, this was the first year that I completely removed myself from the holiday and was like, absolutely not. And then I also had to, like, wait to watch it. And I was like, dude, like, these are, like, people of color dancing around whose characters owned slaves. I just, like, couldn't remove that from this watching of Hamilton. And that was, I talked to my therapist about it. Like, the timing was just, like, very strange. For, like, all the way up to this point, I, like, didn't make the connection. I just didn't connect the dots.
Yeah.
And then when it aired, the timing of it was just, like, what? Like, it was cognitive dissonance to the extreme for me. And I suddenly saw, like, all of these, like, pieces of Hamilton that I didn't see before, that I was like, oh, it's not quite what I thought it was back then, which was interesting, because I also knew that, like, this was finally the first time that you got to see it. And so to, like, it was just, like, this strange middle space.
I am...
Are you proud to be an American?
You know, no. Even in my small town Republican days, I don't think I was ever the wave the flag high, you know, bask in the fireworks. I enjoyed the barbecue aspect of the 4th of July, but never felt, like, extremely patriotic, and that has only been a downhill slope for the last few years. Because Hamilton comes out in 2015, right? Comes out in 2015?
Mm-hmm.
And so we are at the height of Obama-era optimism, right? Like, first black president, 2 terms, some form of accessible healthcare nationwide, gay marriage legalized nationwide. You know, we had this glow of the worst is behind us. You know, I can only speak for me personally, perhaps, but I feel like there was a larger cultural idea around this. And so we could, like, have a musical about the Founding Fathers that is both critical and celebratory. It's definitely not a squeaky clean, with the exception of George Washington. I feel like most of the characters in this show are presented in a complex way if you give it the certain amount of critical lens.
Mm-hmm.
And the shift that and when this show came out, it was a triumph. It was, look at all these people of color, look at the incredible, like, music work that is happening, how songs are woven into other songs, this rewriting of our national identity and giving it color. And now, but 5 years later, Hamilton, while still being an incredible work in a lot of ways, also feels like an antiquity. It feels like something of a bygone era. that we have dredged up.
It doesn't age quite into post-Trump at all. And it's... Yes. I had another thought. It's gone because I just started thinking about it too hard.
The thought flew out the window. Oh, when will my thought husband return from war?
Right. Precisely.
I carry a candle for my thought husband who shall never return.
I also forgot that, like, well, it sucks being, like, so horny for Thomas Jefferson and then, like, knowing so much about Thomas Jefferson now. And so I have to, actually, somebody, I think it was Jace, presented the idea to me that, like, you have to look at it as fan fiction. And I was like, like, that was, like, what I needed to hear, where it's like, oh, it just sort of, like, erases the other. It's fan fiction. It's, like, not quite historical. It's like a reimagining like magical world where like all of these other things were not the case. That's a little bit better. And I also forgot that like so much of it is like this weird love triangle and like Hamilton cheating, and like I forgot that that was like a whole plot point because I just love like I love when they do their like cabinet battles. Like I love the tension between Hamilton, Burr, and like the other cabinet, that I like forget there's this whole like Eliza stuff.
Yes. The Eliza and Angelica stuff peaks with
Act one.
peaks in Act 1, and for me doesn't really go anywhere in Act 2, to the point where, like, I mean, the two of them are, Angelica especially, but Eliza as well, is basically an afterthought. And then the show tries to trick you that it was actually about Eliza the whole time, with like its final denouement number.
So weird.
It's a very strange end to this show. I understand what they're doing. I understand what we're going for. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? Well, Eliza is the one who will go on, who will tell Alexander's story, and now Lin-Manuel Miranda is the one who is telling both of their story, even though it's definitely much, much more about Alexander, Ham, as we continue on there. And then, of course, the last moment of the show is Eliza looking out into the audience and gasping, and people are like, oh, why did she gasp? My theory is that, she just watched Hamilton the musical and it was really good. And she's just like, wow, it was good.
Yeah, I think, similarly, I think she's like looking into the audience and being like, wow, all these people witnessed the story. But if you don't buy into that it was not her perspective the whole time, then that moment doesn't hit for you. I understand the mechanism, the vessel, that moment could be, if you buy into that it's her perspective, but at no point am I like watching Hamilton and I'm like, clearly Eliza put this all together.
It tries to pull a move that, say Mad Men really pulls off, is that like you are with Don Draper, and nominally it feels like Don Draper's story. And when you get to the end, it's kind of Peggy's story the whole time that we have been journeying on. She is, when the show begins, she is the undersecretary, and then she ascends up to become like a person whose name is on the company. And Mad Men pulls that off, and Hamilton, we sound very negative right now, but it just like does not pull off that move.
Yeah, it's just so interesting because I feel like you're right, like in a different era. Like if I had recorded this when I like first saw Hamilton before, like I just wasn't looking at it so critically. I was looking at it as like all of this representation, but I wasn't like, there was no effort to like unpack it because I was like, I don't want to be cynical about this really exciting thing. I can be like less impressed with certain pieces of it, but like that's as far as you could kind of go with it. Like you could be like, oh, I don't like these songs, but like that was kind of as critical as you could get back then.
Where would you say you're at in, like, are you, if we have a dial from 100% positive to 100% negative, where are you at with Hamilton at this point?
I think I'm that like metric is hard. I'm like 80% nostalgic. Like I'm like super I feel like I'm listening to it with like deep nostalgia when I listen to the songs. It's definitely something that I would still put on in my like cross-country road trip that I'm currently on.
Hell yeah.
It's a great road trip album because you can just like listen to it all the way through, and since it's a sing through, like you miss no plot points. Well, I haven't really had the desire to listen to it consistently or anything. It's already entered the nostalgic place for me. It's already like in that file in my brain.
So it's almost the way that we reappraise things that we love that, you know, haven't aged elegantly, but you're like, I don't know, it's just this thing. Like, we can't edit Hamilton at this point. Like, it's in that file, would you say?
Yeah, it's like liking like something you liked in childhood. You're like, oh, yeah, it wasn't like I didn't see all these things when I was a kid, but like I liked it and I would still listen to it again.
Absolutely. I was surprised because I haven't listened to this thing all the way through in a number of years, you know, maybe even since I've like lived in New York, but I still knew basically every word of this and could not like stop myself from rattling it off sitting on the couch with long-suffering girlfriend Tina, who had never seen Hamilton, who had like listened to like one Hamilminute, and like that was basically her exposure to the entire thing.
Wow.
And it was great to like be with someone who's completely new and on the cutting edge of all of this. If I am using that same dial, I would say I probably am still like 70% positive. Like, the music is still incredible. It's absolutely unbelievable that the songs are just fucking hit after hit after hit, especially in Act 1. And every time a song kicks up, almost without fail, you're like, oh my god, this song! And that is great. The performances are still incredible. The scene structure and the way they use their like chorus members, the
bullet.
The bullet is so fucking good. All of
I'm
the
also
numbers.
Like, I have a huge crush on her, like outside of
Bullet
Hamilton.
Girl,
and I forgot that like she was in Hamilton, or I actually don't think I even knew. But I've been like following her on Instagram for a while and seen her in her other Broadway projects, and so to like discover this like integrated part that she had such an active role in putting into the show was very exciting, because I love when somebody gets booked as ensemble and is like, actually, I have a whole vision, and like succeeds. That's always exciting to me, because whenever I'm in the ensemble, I'm like, yeah, I'm living a whole world. I got a whole backstory.
You don't know me. My story will never be told. But there's a lot going on here.
Inside. Yeah. So I love when people are successful with that, and then you can like track it. That was cool to watch. It was fun to like hear about it in time to watch it and have that something fun, like a little Easter egg to grab at as I was like watching it so critically. I was like, but this is new and fun for me. Yeah, the two parts that I thought would be the most painful were, because they were the most painful when I saw it. And so they were also, it held over time.
Examples.
Quiet Uptown and Hurricane. I can do without both. That's the fat I can trim from this show.
Is it the fact that Lin-Manuel Miranda is asked to sing well in those numbers?
Yeah.
Yes. And
it's not even asked, because he did it.
He made it.
Himself.
He asked himself to do that. And I do think he is a very like charismatic, good performer. This is a strong performance.
That's not a question. Yeah, that's never been a question.
I agree with him losing the Best Actor Tony to Leslie Odom Jr. As Burr, who is just so magnetic and also sings the ever-loving shit out of his numbers, where it is called of him. Lin is really good at the sections of Hamilton where he is asked to rap very quickly, to drop something in a cabinet battle in Yorktown, like these moments where he calls himself to, I imagine just so much it feels more like a memory, when's it gonna get me on my feet, like that shit. I think he really kills. He's a very skilled, quick-witted rap artist. However, when he is asked to musically carry a ballad, it does not work quite as well.
No, I watched like a college video of him performing, and I was like, stop. I don't want to see this.
I recently saw, I forget what musical it was, I saw an image
one of the Jesus ones.
Yes, it was Jesus Christ Superstar, but it was set in a concentration camp, and I said, No, probably not going to watch this. I don't want to be angrier than I already am right now. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. So I'm going to refrain from picking up that little YouTube thread. It will not lead to a good place for me mentally.
I don't feel like Lynn is going to listen to this because he's got a lot going on. He's got a lot of fans, and it's all coming back, so he's probably overwhelmed. So I don't feel really too worried that he's gonna listen to this and then personalize it and then make a decision about me as a person and then ruin my career.
And then he's gonna flame me, and then he's gonna hate me. He's gonna have a dartboard with a picture of my face on it. I'm worried about that.
I'm not too worried. There's already so many better TikToks with better critiques of his performance than anything that I would say. But I don't know. I kind of watch it as yeah, exactly. I kind of watch it as he's in it because it's his thing. I don't really look at it as a performance. I'm just he's delivering us this work because it's his work that he's delivering to us. I don't really I don't see it in the same way that I watch the other performers. I watched Daveed Diggs and I was he didn't have to go there. He has a whole fucking rap career. He did not have to do what he did, and he did it. He dropped in. He dropped all the way in, and he built a whole thing around it, and he just is. Daveed Diggs is Hamilton for me. It is the top of Hamilton is Daveed Diggs. And then everything falls beneath that. And then obviously Satisfied is right beneath that. It's Daveed Diggs, Satisfied, and then Structure and whatever.
Helpless cool into Satisfied is
so good to watch.
Still
so pleasing.
The shit. It's still
the coolest
the number
staging of Broadway. Coolest staging moment of Broadway.
All time. It's so good. And it's magnificent. It's the peak for all of those characters. There are a lot of folks out there that there's parts of it, self-titled Skylar Sisters song, and there's parts of it I really like. It feels everybody, they put their fingers up in the air, they say work. It's very nice. It feels like when I'm watching an action movie and they have this unbelievably underwritten female character, but they give her one moment where she shows up the boys, and I'm supposed to be yes, queen, credit to the directors, whereas I'm why didn't you give this person more to do for the rest of the project?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just have one scene where it's yes, girl power, and then that's it. And then we're done.
Yeah, and it's weird because Angelica dominates totally front ends Hamilton to a point where you're watching it and you're oh, this is the lead. Lin-Manuel Miranda is just sort of Hamilton is the background to Angelica's journey, and then that's fully not the case. But by watching Satisfied, you're fully convinced that it's going to be so driven by her, and then it's just not. And then it's some dudes drinking, and then they start a war and stuff.
And once we're at Yorktown, later Skylar Sisters, we're see you never, I guess. They are playing.
What was all of that? What was all of that lead up for?
They exist only to be cucked at that point. We just, Eliza gets cooked. Angelica thinks about doing some cucking very briefly, but then it's over. Then we move on. And that is an element of it that I don't know about hasn't aged well. Maybe it was not aged appropriately when it came out, but certainly feels like an afterthought. It's 90s Disney feminism where there's one scene where Jasmine or Nala does something that impresses the main lead, but then don't worry, they don't do anything else for the rest of the fucking. Don't worry, Jasmine's about to be captured, but we did give her a stick and she outjumped Aladdin that one time.
So interesting. It's Disney informed storytelling,
Disney
and it ended up as a Disney vessel. Whoa, there's a conspiracy afoot. I haven't quite put the pieces together.
We all know Lynn loves Alan Menken, so I think he was just borrowing every tool from the 80s, 90s Disney playbook.
I know, it's kind of interesting because he's like, this is clearly my, like, me and my conception and whatever, and like, you know, I love women, so like, here's the like a beginning, like, I love them, I love women, love what they do, so here's your part at the beginning, and then also here's a power ballad that everyone's gonna sing at every audition for every musical theater program till the end of time. Burn. Here's Burn. So cool, right?
Yeah, Burn. You know, I know you casting directors. You were sick of Defying Gravity. You were sick of On My Own. So here's a new one. Here's the flavor of the next 3 years for musical theater auditions.
Yeah. I distinctly remember my roommate at Webster just like power belting Burn, and it was like such the thing to do. But then when I watch it in the context, I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm mad that he cheated. Like, I'm definitely angry. Like, I definitely want catharsis, and like, it's cool to burn it, but like, then you go back and you recouple, and so Burn kind of like gets taken away for me because like all of the like, I'm upset and justified and bleh.
I am out of your narrative. Later, right. Skater.
And it's like, I'm out of your narrative until I'm mourning, and then we get back together.
Until one song later.
Right.
And I'm back, baby.
That's what it is for me. I think that's what it is, even though that's historically true.
Right. I've heard some criticism that was like, I can't believe, you know, they had Eliza get back with Hamilton. And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's the way that history unfolded. They could have, like, structured it better. You know, they could have made Burn not about, like, I am gone forever. I am out of your narrative. I will not save you. Okay, never mind. I'm back to save you.
Right, and then at the end, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell you a really, really great story because I love your mind. You know what's also interesting? She loves his mind, right? Like, loves it, but like, where's the scene where like he showcases his mind to her? Where is that?
Yeah,
like,
it's implied that it occurred like off screen.
That's so dumb. Do you think Lynn was like, I've done a lot of work here, and I don't want to try to be really, really smart in this scene because I don't know what I would say. So I'm just going to have her be really, really into how smart I am. And not write it. Like, I don't know. It's like saying that someone's really funny, but like never seeing them like do any jokes or any bit and just being like, such a funny guy.
Like when you're watching a movie or TV show and two characters are supposed to be best friends, but they never do anything that feels indicative of these actors not having just met each other before the camera rolled. Like, they don't. It's like, okay, I guess. All right, I guess.
Yeah. So that's another piece.
I did not. This turned out much more negative.
I'm sorry. I know.
No.
I knew that.
We are wrestling with our feelings about this. It's okay.
There's gonna be a lot of stans probably that listen to this, and like, that's fine. You're valid.
Here come the stans. I am certainly still a fan, but I cannot. You know, I'm just at a point. I like can't unappraise it from itself, and this happens with anything that I love. Like, I'm going back and revisiting a couple of the pop cultural things that have meant the most to me of all time. I'm revisiting Community, I'm revisiting Lost, and there are elements of it that we simply have to take out and consider and say, like, for various reasons this doesn't pay off, or in the case of Community, sometimes like, oh, this is offensive, like, this is wrong. That this occurred, and that's just the nature of these things. It means we as a society are progressing, and that is ultimately better than holding up these objects of even the recent past and saying, like, unassailable, cannot be dinged.
I will say I've said some highlights already about. I just like didn't go into like the passion behind the highlights. But something that really excites me watching it is watching the cabinet like against Hamilton, like the actual social politics that occur in Act 2 are actually like really cool to watch, because that's something that as someone who has a hard time, like, I'm dyslexic and I like history is so boring sometimes.
100%. 100%.
That like second act is like, oh, I'm like invested. Like there is some emotion here. This is like angsty. This is like ego driven. Like everyone thinks they're justified in their choices. Like I feel like the stakes in terms of like the cabinet battles and Washington on your side and just being like, oh, you seem to be Washington's little toy. Like I just love like the way that they, for Lin-Manuel Miranda to have written it and then to be removed, like to be so criticized as a character in Act 2 is pretty interesting. But I also just like really can do without the like weird cheating scene. But then I do really like, I'm thinking about it again. But I do.
Have you read this?
But I do like the when he's like, okay, what's it called? The
Reynolds
report.
pamphlet.
That.
Have you read
That's
this?
so funny. I openly laughed watching that.
It's
like,
very funny.
He didn't have to go there, and then
he didn't have to do this. Like it's like when a minor internet celebrity addresses a controversy, but in their address tells you 5 other terrible things you didn't already know about them. And it's like, people are saying, I fucked my mom, I'm not fucking my mom. And it's like, whoa, I never said, but now I think you did fuck you doth protest too much. There is so much of...
I don't know any examples of anybody who has said that they fucked their mom openly on the internet. But...
Okay, well, unfortunately, that's where you and I differ. So there's so much of this musical that is dangerously close to falling over the precipice into some Schoolhouse Rock bullshit.
Totally.
Like there is so like
every time they say 1776 is when I feel like I'm in Schoolhouse Rock.
It feels like when there's this like, I remember they came to my middle school and did like a rap musical version of Midsummer Night's Dream they had come up with as a troupe, and I was like, no, I rebuke this idea. You cannot try and make old into new. There's so much that like precipices, or like the core idea that this is all based on, when he's reading like a 1,200 page Ron Chernow biography of Hamilton, when Lynn goes, this reminds me of Tupac and Biggie. It's like, no. What? It's like, let me turn around my chair and address the students and like, listen, the Founding Fathers were kind of like rappers. And you're like, this is the worst fucking idea I've ever heard. And the fact that it never falls over that cliff into being insufferable, and in fact being still really, really fucking good, is a testament to the incredible, like, artistry at play.
Yeah, oh my god, no, the rhyming couple. What's that one song where Jefferson raps at, like, an alarming rate? I can't remember.
It's like you gotta get your right-hand man back.
Yeah. Yeah. Right-hand man back. Or right-hand man. Yeah. Or whatever. Anyway.
I'm taking this horse, McLean's making red clothes spread over blood stains. Lafayette.
Yeah, that shit. Oh, it was Lafayette. Oh, it was Act 1. I also love that. I also love the way that they cast reversals that reflect the story really interestingly. the casting is so cool because there's like a character that feels very much like a son, and then Act 2 it becomes a son, and then there's a character who's French, and then that's actually the French ambassador. Like, I think that's so cool.
It all plays off so well, and like having Thomas Jefferson, who's played by Daveed Diggs, who is the same actor as Lafayette, say, like, did you forget Lafayette? Have you an ounce of regret? Like, it just adds this extra... They use the multicasting that is so inherent to theater, musicals especially, and make it a resonant addition to the show. And, like, using the same musical refrains that we had with John Lawrence and applying them to Philip Hamilton is just chef's kiss. All the musical shit, the way that we're like, we bring back the 10 Dual Commandments when Eliza is teaching Philip piano.
Oh, yeah.
All of that shit is so good. And as much as like we need to discuss the ways that this musical has a different light in 2020, there are some fucking indelible, incredible pieces of work here. There's a reason that all of these actors have done their bit parts, their cameos, an album, a different part or two after Hamilton. But there is a reason that Daveed Diggs is the guy that I keep seeing in like 3 movies a year. And that's because he comes in 2 absolute dynamite scene stealer performances.
So good. The best part of Hamilton.
The best part. The opening
Satisfied.
of Act 2. Yeah, right. Helpless Satisfied is the best part. And then after that is virtually everything Daveed Diggs does throughout the show.
I feel like I said that 20 minutes ago, and I still feel the same way.
I have not changed my mind in the intervening time. Of course, this version of Thomas Jefferson is completely different than the antisocial malcontent that we are used to, but I don't care. I don't know. You asked me to care about the portrayal of Thomas Jefferson. I don't care
about that history. No.
You're a slaver. Hey, neighbor, your debts are paid because you don't pay for labor.
Yeah.
Incredible work. I am glad that you and I were able to have an earnest discussion about this musical in the current state of affairs.
Yeah, it's cathartic for sure. This was definitely a turning point. Are we going to listen to a minute of Hamilton?
No.
Okay.
No, we were just discussing the Hamill film. I might put one in here. It's the 51st. I'll put in the next minute wherever we were at.
And we've done enough analysis that you don't even have to hear how we feel about this minute. It's just going to be the tag, right?
Yeah, I'll just put it right there in at the end. I might put 1 minute at the beginning and 1 minute at the end, and so we are that much closer to
spicy.
It's spicy. Speaking of
where are we?
Spicy. Where are we in space? In time?
In Hamilton.
In Hamilton? That is an excellent question. Let me open up my folder, and I will tell you where we are at, because I earnestly don't remember.
It was like early quarantine last time we recorded.
Yeah, and before that it's been very sporadic. I've had far too many projects spinning, and also, mental health is kind of a dicey idea right now.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm on a new mood stabilizer.
Nice.
I see color. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, I cannot open up where we are in Hamilton because I'm currently recording something in Audacity, and Audacity, being a free program, will not allow for that insolence even in a separate window.
Fair.
That's fair to Audacity.
We don't need to know. The viewer or the listeners will.
The listeners don't. Cat Scott, where can the people find you if they want to check out yourself or some of your work? And what do you got? What are you up to?
Yeah, I have, I think, my portfolio.catscottonline.com has like my info right now. It's like the laziest website. And then on Instagram, I am Cat Scott Online, KATSCOTT online. And I'm not trying to use Instagram right now, but
Nice.
I will check it occasionally. So if you're in the DMs, I'll get back to you within like 2 weeks. And that's about it because I'm a teacher. So I feel like I've privatized a lot of my content, and I haven't tried to put my stuff into podcast form in an actual platform yet, but it's in pieces on my YouTube channel.
You're working on it.
I have a Cat's Got YouTube channel as well, and that has like all of my bit and pieces projects in their most gentle form. So that's a fun place to find like the weirdest content. I have a Sasha Velour overdub video. It's where I put a lot of my PowerPoints. It's where I sort of just like brain vomit because I don't actually have followers. So I can just like put my weirdest art onto that YouTube channel. So if you find it, I mean, it's probably hard to find because the SEO is like pretty bad. No one's searching for it. But if you find it, there's some weird stuff there. It's niche. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
Y'all hear me on this feed too often plugging my shit, so I will save you from that now. But Kat, it was nice talking to you.
I know, this was fun. I'm in St. Louis right now.
Yeah, I haven't been to St. Louis in over a year. It's been a very long time.
I wouldn't come right now. I feel like a tornado chaser where like the movie Twister, where
I'm going wherever the virus is hottest.
Exactly. Like the rates dropped in New York, time to go to Missouri.
We're going to Florida.
The rates are my dad's in Florida. The rates are getting high in California. I'll be there soon. And then I'm coming back through. So even if I miss it one way, I can always catch it the other. So this may be the last you hear of me. And if so, I'm glad that I went out with Hamilton analysis. So
I'm glad that this is your final mission statement as well. Do.
Woo!
End of the day, that would be enough. We don't need a legacy. We don't need money. If I could grant you peace of mind, if you could let me inside your heart, oh, let me be a part of the narrative in the story they will write someday. Let this moment be the first chapter where you decide to stay. And I could be enough, and we could be enough. That would be enough.